Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Today's Monday, April, April 3rd already. Market's going to open in about 7 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we will get started shortly. And this year's flying by. It's April already. So it's got a couple things here to update. And once everything's updated, we will get started with our analysis for today. All right, a couple more things here. Good. Perfect. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. And we should be good to go. Right. Wait a few moments for people to make their way in. And we should be able to get started shortly. Perfect. I'll give it a few moments for people to join in. As people continue to join in, I'm going to post the link to our other pages real quick. Last place. All right, guys. Morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Today's Monday, April 3rd. It is 6:26 right now. Market's going to open in about 4 minutes. It looks like majority of you guys are here so far, but I'll give it a few more moments for people to make their way in. And then we'll get started with our analysis for today. All right, so let's see who's here so far. Scroll up real quick. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Christian. Morning, iPhone, which is Martha. Hey, Martha, how's it going? Morning. Morning, Karen. Morning, Active. Morning, Saren. Morning, everybody. All right, guys. So it looks like people are still making their way in. But happy Monday, guys. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. Back for market open right now. So it's a new month, guys. It's April already. So this year's flying by. Yes, the last month was cool. I think the last week of March was like probably our worst weekend like ever. We've never had like, so many iffy trades like that, but the market was moving kind of weird last week. So it's all good. I mean, what happens if you guys have been trading with me over the years, typically there's like one bad week out of every month. And that was last week. So got that out of the way and we're, back on track. So let's see if there's anything else. Let's see. Hanukkah, morning. C6 said morning, first Monday, new month, first day of the second semester, ISM news coming up a little later. Thanks, C6. Let me check the news real quick because I didn't even take a look at that today. So looking over here on the calendar, today we had, there's no pre-market news, but there is OPEC meetings today. This is basically regarding oil and stuff like that. So it's going to affect the market, of course, but not necessarily directly, indirectly, but it'll obviously, it'll have its move. So we have more news over here at 6:45, final manufacturing PMI, some inflation news, and then ISM manufacturing PMI and ISM manufacturing prices. Basically just a bunch of inflation news here. Directly correlated with the US economy. So of course it's going to affect the market. So basically 645, 7, and I think that's about it. Looking back at our trading guys, I was thinking about maybe trading till 9, but I think we should just stick to 8 because I've looked back at the results and it's just not really worth it because you're going to have a couple more trades around like between 8 and 9, but for the most part, a lot of them are either risky trades or they're losses. So I think it's better to just stick to our original plan of trading till 8. If you guys want to continue trading, I think you guys can trade till 9, but for the most part, I think it's not really worth the effort because we'll be on for another hour. At that point, we're pretty much drained and done with looking for entries. The only time I'll stay after 8 is if we don't have any entries until 8. If we trade from 6:30 to 8 and there's no entries, then I'll keep trading to look for at least, one entry for us to take. But yeah, for the most part, we will let's play by ear. Also, one thing that I noticed too is that or that my brother noticed is that you can probably take these entries with a 1-to-1 risk to reward, basically taking entries for a 30-30 instead of a 10-30. So if you guys want to do that, feel free. I'm going to stick to the 10-30 for now, but we'll look at we'll mark it up to see if it follows the 1-to-1. It's just it's a little risky and you're holding on to it for longer than what it's intended for. So, all right, guys, see what we got. Market is opening, and there we go. Market is now open. There goes our opening bell. We have a lower low right here. Possible buy signal will provide an entry for this right here, but I don't think I'll be taking this on the opening candle, especially for it being Monday. It's just it's too early in the session to take a crazy risk like that. So I mean, if you guys want to take it, I'll mark it up for you guys, but I don't think I will take it. Or I'll let you know. I'll see how I feel. I just this candle here is a huge wick. Monday's usually one of the riskier days to trade, guys. So just keep my Monday and Fridays are the riskier days to trade. So there's probably going to be an entry here, but I'll see. Maybe I'll take it for a partial move if it does close properly. But I don't think it's going to close. You got to wait for it to actually close too. So just keep that in mind. Don't hop in early, guys, because this can easily just pull back like it did right here and provide no buy signal. So it's just a super iffy candle because it's so big. And anyways, there's no entry, so it's fine. We were kind of tempted to maybe take it, but I knew something like this was going to happen or it was going to pull back. This right here won't be an entry, guys, because the candle already closed above it. So it's pretty much invalidated the move already. I know the candle did pull back and then it opened right below it here, but I'm not going to take this for an entry because this candle already invalidated the move. If you guys are familiar with the strategy that we're applying, basically we're applying the high level momentum scalp. We're looking for a lower low followed by a momentum buy signal and confirming that the buy signal breaks and close past pivots 1 and 2. We already had that right here with no buy signal. So that's going to invalidate the move. So I'll be looking for next possible entry if and when it does come up. All right, so let's see what we got here. So there's no entry off this, guys. Just keep that in mind. I know this candle did close below it again, but this first candle right here already invalidated that movement. So I'm gonna check this off right here. Still no signal, so no entry for us at this moment. But let me put the criteria over here so that you guys know what to look for. Hey, CJ, how's it going? Morning, Maria. Morning, T. Morning, Bless. Morning, everybody. Yeah, LW said first market open day since OPEC production cut. Yeah, the OPEC meetings are going on this week too, so we'll see how that affects the market. Hey, Dan, how's it going? All right, so we didn't get the buy signal yet, guys. So we're looking for a buy signal to pretty much provide us the opportunity to look for another entry. We can't get a sell signal here because there's already a sell signal right here. You can't get two sell signals right after each other. It needs to be a buy signal, sell signal, then buy signal. So since we have a sell signal here, the next signal has to be a buy. So just an FYI. So we're technically looking for the buy signal to come up, but we're not going to have any entry for a buy because price has already broken close past the pivots. As you guys can see, there's no direction here. Price is pretty much going back and forth. I'm going to go and mark up opening price right here so that you guys can see that. And I'll go over to the clean chart as well to show you guys, how the market's currently moving because it's not really moving smoothly at all. So here is the clean chart. Let me just make sure everything's removed. All right, there's opening price. 6:30 is right there. And 8 o'clock is right there. All right, so as you guys can see, this is a clean chart, no markups. Pretty much price is just going back and forth. No direction at all, but you guys can see where price is kind of bouncing off of, right here. It's bouncing off the opening price. So let's take a look at the bigger picture and see what is US30 looking like at the moment, or YM. So as you guys can see on the higher time frames, price is very bullish. I mean, it's pretty much bullish across all the time frames except for the 1 and 5. Right here on the 4 hour, it's clearly bullish. Price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling up. Same with the 1 hour, same thing. 30-minute, same thing. 10-minute over here is right in between, so it's a bit neutral, but it's still bullish. Price is still above the pivots for the most part, and the trend meter down below is still green. Looking over here on the 5, price is attempting to shift to the downside, but it's still right down the middle. So I'd say bullish on the higher time frames and then neutral on the lower time frames. The 10-minute here is still bullish. The 5-minute here is more neutral, and the 1 minute over here is sort of bearish, but it's like trying to shift back up. So we'll just play by ear and see where it goes. But I think for the most part, price will be bullish. Let's take a look at sentiment to see what that's looking like as well. So looking over here at retail sentiment. Retail sentiment is currently 64% short. So this indicates that 64% of retail traders are currently selling right now. Typically, you want to do the opposite of everybody else because everybody sucks at trading for the most part. So if all the retail traders are currently selling, market makers are typically going to be buying because they want to stop all these people out, right? So with that said, I'm probably looking for buys. Like, it wouldn't make sense to look for sells anyways because everything here is bullish. So it's crazy how people try to outsmart the market makers, but it's not really that possible. Like, right, these small retail traders are not going to make a difference. Price is going to push up because overall bias here is bullish. So you can see a lot of people are gambling in the market. You can see a lot of people are selling because they think price is going to come down, but realistically, price is just going to keep going up. So probably looking for some buys today, but I mean, it doesn't matter. We'll look for trades in both directions. We're not necessarily stuck looking for one type of trade. Whatever the market gives us, we'll take it. Exactly. Yeah. Nick said we can catch the reversal. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So we'll end up taking what the market gives us, but at the moment we still don't have that buy signal. That same buy signal is it's appearing and disappearing. So we got to wait. Every time you guys hear that ping noise, it's a momentum signal that's coming up. So right now this pending buy signal is still pending. We got to wait for this to close to look for any type of entry because there's just nothing for us to take right now. There we go. This price pushes up and pretty much knocks out everybody that is swinging through. Let's see. Nick said the ping noise isn't coming through on our end. Do you guys hear that ping noise? It's like a ring. Nick said he can't hear it, but I'm pretty sure you guys could because it's coming out of my computer and my mic is right next to the computer. So I'm not sure if like you guys can hear it or not. Yeah, everyone hears it, Nick. I think it's just you. Your volume might be messed up because you couldn't hear me earlier. there goes a ping again. Do you guys hear that? Yeah, so whenever this comes up, guys, I'm getting a ringing noise on my computer. Okay, but you guys could see it anyways. So it looks like well, LW said he can hear it. Nick and Kenny said they can't hear it. So if you guys can't hear it, it's fine. You'll see the alert pop up on my screen anyways. So if you guys see the this thing come up right here, this just means that there is a signal that has come up, which is pending. I mean, it's not a big deal. You guys don't really need it because you guys are watching my screen anyways. It's just an audio warning for me personally so I can look at the chart because typically I'm going around and just scrolling through the charts. But the ping noise will help. Hey, AR, how's it going? Okay, perfect. Yeah, Kenny said he could hear it too. So whether you guys can hear it or not, I just want to give you guys a heads up so you guys aren't like wondering what that pinging noise is. All right, we have the buy signal right here. This is what we were looking for. Now we have a higher high. So now that we have the higher high right here, we're looking for price to come right back down, break and close below the pivots, and continue on to the downside. Oh gosh, yeah. Nick said he has his own signal set for the 1 minute as well. Yeah, that might be it, Nick. We might be getting the same signal at the same time. So you probably aren't hearing mine, but you're hearing your own. SS said on currency.com, the sign shows on the signal shows on the 635 candle. Yeah, you're going to get different momentum signals on different brokers, because the brokers are different. So like the algorithm that I created for this indicator, it's based off like the broker data. So yeah, you're going to see some different signals. It's not going to happen a lot, but it's going to happen every so often as to where it shows up on different candles. I personally recommend using YM because YM is the data directly from the exchange. So you're going to get a lot of better signals, and just like everything in general is going to be more quality on this specific asset. And the reason for that is because, like, for example, you're looking at currency.com. Currency.com pretty much creates their own data. They mirror their data off YM, and they set their own prices, their own spread, their own movement, volatility, etc. It mirrors it, but you're going to get different. Like, it's not going to be as accurate as YM, because you guys can see you have to pay for this data. This is directly from CBOT. So like for yours, it says currency.com right here, but CBOT is the Chicago Board of Trade, which is like it's like the New York Stock Exchange, but it's Chicago because it's a futures. Hey, Iceman, how's it going? Morning. All right, guys. So there's no entries for us yet. We do have the higher high right here. So we're basically going to look for a price to come right back down. We don't have that yet, but eventually it's going to come back down. We do have news right here at 6:45. So you want to be a little careful for entries. I typically don't. I pretty much disregard it for the most part. I'll look for sessions though. I think the sessions are going to be important, but the news price, not so much, because the volatility will probably be beneficial for us unless it's something crazy like the 7 o'clock news here. I'm probably going to avoid this because that's the ISM manufacturing index. So we have the final manufacturing PMI is not that bad, but the ISM is pretty bad. It's going to be, you guys can see the difference. Final manufacturing is yellow folder, so it's like light impact. ISM manufacturing is red folder and orange. So it's a little, well, it's not a little, it's a lot more of an impact on the market. Other than that, I don't see any other news here. There's news here at 8:30, but it's not really relevant. We're going to stop trading at 8 anyways. But we'll see where this ends up coming. So what I kind of hope to happen here is I want price to come down, and then I kind of want to take the buy because the buy is looking a lot better than the sells. So I kind of want the price to retrace back down, maybe give us an invalid entry. And then when it swings back up, I'm going to be more confident to take the buys here because obviously you guys can see it's very bullish right now. 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, 10-minute, 5-minute, 1 minute, literally all the time frames here on US30 or YM is very bullish. So I personally would like to take a buy, but if we do get an entry for a sell, I'm not going to stray away from it. I'll still take it anyways, as long as it comes up, as a solid entry, nothing too crazy. Let's see. So Nick said, so I wondered this for the past few months. At first, a couple years back, we would use currency.com data and it was pretty on point. We didn't have to pay for the data. Why did that change? Was it a trading view thing or did something change in the market? It was more so their data wasn't as, it would freeze up for a while. Like there would be some days where the market was just frozen and it was just on currency.com. So it's not necessarily a trading view thing. It's a currency.com thing because it's broker data. So like if you're scalping, you don't want your candles to freeze, right? Because if your candles are freezing, you don't know where the market's going. So like for the past couple of months, I think it was like towards the end of the year, like November, December, like we would take trades and then currency.com candles would just stop. But then the FTMO candles were still moving. So we needed to change that because obviously we can't be entering a trade like a scalp. And then we don't know if price is in profit or if it's in the negative or what, because we're taking all of our trades based off trading view, right? So like we need to see the actual candle movement. So I mean, currency.com is fine, but they just had issues with data for the most part. So like obviously, we wanted to go with the best data, but I think the second best is still currency.com. So currency.com is still fine. It's just I don't want the markets to be freezing while we're while we're trading on the live session. So that's why I just ended up using YM. And since YM is directly from the exchange, you have like the fastest data. So like typically this is a little faster than FTMO. So what I started to notice is that when we started trading on YM, we would get in like maybe a few seconds, not a few seconds, like maybe a split second before FTMO, so that we would automatically cover the spread. Because I'm sure you guys have noticed, if you guys take a trade and you base your trades off a different broker, you're still negative because you have to cover the spread. But since this data is faster, when you enter the trade, you already automatically cover the spread because you get in basically like a split second before the market actually moves on FTMO and other brokers. So it's kind of like arbitrage, but it's not like, it's nothing drastic. You're only in for like a split second earlier. All right, we got news coming up right now in about 40 seconds, guys, right here at 6:45. We'll see if this spikes price up higher or if it swings it back down. It's low impact though, so I'm not expecting too much of a movement. I'm expecting a big movement right here at 7 though. So just something to keep in mind. Yeah, exactly, Nick. No problem. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that we didn't start using YM earlier, because I've used YM before. I just didn't want to pay for it because I was being cheap initially. But you know, the $4 is worth it because I take one trade and it covers pretty much, you know, a full like lifetime of YM. Yeah, no, I was being cheap before because you know, you think about it, you're like $4, man. That's like a waste of like $4. But then when you actually use the data, you're like, this is like a huge difference because you get in, you cover the spread. And that's usually something that kind of gets in people's way. All right, so we got news price right here, guys. As I mentioned, it's not really moving price too much. It's kind of what I expected. So we got news price right there at 6:45. And then we have the big news price right here at 7. So there goes a higher high right there. If price comes down below and breaks and close below with the sell signal, then that's going to be a possible entry for a high level momentum scalp. So that's what we're looking for right here. The higher high just moved to the next candle. Check out CNBC real quick. Some news updates here. Let's just take a look at what's going on in the market behind the scenes. So right now, currently the Dow's up 238 points. S&P is up 2.71 points. NASDAQ's currently down 56 points. Russell 2K is up 3 points. And the VIX is currently up 3%. Some news over here. It says OPEC Plus just made the Fed's job more complicated. Here's why I did it and what could happen next. So they have the OPEC meeting during this this entire week, guys. And yeah, they're making a lot of changes with regard to oil. So this can affect the market, of course. And then some updates right here from NASDAQ falling. We're not trading NASDAQ, so it's not really a big deal to us. But you can see that the NASDAQ is getting affected compared to the S&P and US30. S&P are still bullish. NASDAQ's currently down, but it's probably going to recover at some point. All right, price is still pushing up. So we'll see where this ends up going. Maddie's asking if I'm going to test the 300. I'm not going to do it on my account, but I'm gonna look at it. So I'll be marking it up. If you want to do it, Maddie, you could, but I'm not going to take that risk, especially on a Monday. I don't want to be holding on to a position longer than I need to. So I'll mark it up and we'll see if the 1-to-1 works. I mean, I've tested it. So here's the problem with the 1-to-1, guys. If you're doing a 1-to-1, it works, but you got to take every entry because the win rate's a lot lower. So depending on your preference, if you want to take a 1-to-1, 300, you're going to have like a 56% win rate. So you're going to be having a lot of losses, but it's going to balance out if you take every single trade. So that's a bit of a problem for some people, right? If you don't like to lose trades like me, I don't like losing trades at all. So I personally like the 1030. But if you're okay with taking those losses, you know, eventually your profits will balance out at the end of the month. It's just it depends on the person. So I mean, you could look if you want, Maddie, but I'm not gonna. If I do take it, I'll let you guys know. Because what I'll do is I'll just I'll take, like, I could set up my TP stop loss with 300. And then when it gets 200, I'll just move my stop loss and profit. Like, that's one way of doing it, but it's just a lot of work, especially if I'm doing it here on the live session with you guys. So let's see. B's asking, was the 1-to-1 back tested, and was it? So my brother created a back test script. We went over it over the weekend. He it had like a, let me see how the screenshot here. Let's see. Yeah, it's a 58.65% win rate. So, I mean, it was profitable, but there's gonna be a lot more losses. So there's a lot more trades, but a lot more losses. This is from 6:30 to 8, 56.68% win rate. So the win rate isn't like, it's not great. But if you guys are okay with taking those L's, I mean, eventually it'll balance out. But you got to take like every trade. You can't be scared and like not take a trade, right? Because you can, if you miss out on one trade or a couple trades, you're gonna mess up your win rate. So I mean, it just depends on the person. So this is, so if you trade from 6:30 to 9, it's a little higher. It's 58.95% win rate. But again, you have to take every trade. Like it's you know, like I mentioned, you can't be like taking a day off from trading. If you take a day off from trading and you miss like a whole day of wins, it's gonna mess up your win rate. So the win rate for those right there is about like about 58 to 60% win rate for a 1-to-1. So, but you got to take every trade. Like for example, here I'm basically nitpicking with my trades for the 1030, but I don't really have any losses, right? So I mean, it's up to your guys' preference. You guys can try it out if you like, but I'm not going to try it out. Not on my live account. Maybe if like this wasn't my live account, I'd try it out because I wouldn't have the nerves to. My nerves just wouldn't take it. Like I don't like having losses, and I think it's going to screw with my trade psychology. So if you guys want to try the 1-to-1, you guys can. But for me personally, I'm going to stick to the 1030 for now. I'll test it and I'll mark it up, but I'm probably not going to take it that way. At least not yet. It's 6:30 to 9B. So the first one I showed you was 6:30 to 8. That one is about a 58% win rate. And the one from 6:30 to 9 is about 59 to 60% win rate. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just you're going to get more entries from the 6 to 9. And then if it ends up hitting up break, like it's just probably going to end up like a little, because there's going to be some days where you're going to have a lot of wins, and then some days where you're going to have a lot of losses. Like you're going to have some days where you're just going to have like a couple losses, and then some days where you're going to have a couple wins. So, I mean, it's just up to preference. But if you guys want to test it, feel free. It's just not, it's not my preference. I'd rather have like a 97% win rate and just take a couple more trades, but like less losses. Yeah, because everybody's different. Like some people are okay with taking like losses. And for me, I'd rather just have like maybe 1 or 2 losses for an entire month rather than having like 10 losses. It's just a little different. But they both equate to like pretty much the same thing. They equate to about the same profit. I think just the 1-to-1 has a little better profitability, but you have to take every single trade. See, question from Glenn. Glenn's asking, would you take the sell if it comes up? Yeah, probably. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to come up now because we already have a lower high here, but possibly. We have news right here at 7 though, Glenn. So if the news comes up right here at 7, I probably won't be taking it because it's a high impact news event. Typically for the regular news events, I'm okay. But for the ISM manufacturing, or not ISM manufacturing, the regular ISM, it's like super high impact. Actually, I was right. Yeah. ISM manufacturing PMI and ISM manufacturing prices. They're both very high impact inflation news. So I probably won't be taking it around this time. If it was a regular news event like this last one, I would have been okay with it, but not for this one specifically. So I am expecting this news event. Let's see what it's forecasting. So it's forecasting to be about the same, but I mean, we'll see how it ends up playing out. The thing with price though is that it's very overextended. So like where price is currently at right now, you guys can see how it pushed up right here pre-market, or not even pre-market, like market open. Price is pushed up about 2,200 pips. So it's up a lot right now. What I kind of expect here is a possible retracement down and then correction back to the upside. So I think price might be, well, it's probably going to be manipulated right here at 7. The news event's just too heavy for it not to be. I'm expecting a spike in price and then possibly correction and then retracement. So yeah, just be a little careful if you guys are looking to take anything here. We got 5 minutes till the news event. Price is coming down right here. This is like, it's getting a little too close to the news event though, guys. So if we get a sell right here, I'm probably not going to take it. So at this point, Glenn, I'm probably not going to take the entry because the last thing I want to do is take a trade. And I'm going to be stuck in that position when the news comes out. Because I think that's the worst possible scenario is you get an entry here and then it just ends up going sideways for the next 5 minutes. And then as soon as news happens right here, it's going to spike up either to your TP or it's going to spike up to your stop loss. So for me, I'm not really looking to take that type of risk. Yeah, because the range right here is not that heavy. As you guys can see, the volatility is dying down. A lot of people are just sitting out of the market right now because there's news coming up right here in about 5 minutes, very high impact news. So you can see the market is just going sideways right now. It's because nobody's trading. People are kind of just waiting for the news to happen, and then they're going to make moves off the news. So I would probably just sit out of the market, guys, if you guys are looking to take entries here. Because the problem is you have to cover spread, and then you also still have to hit your TP. So yeah, I would sit tight and just wait for this news event to happen. Let's see. All right, we got 4 minutes till news. Not much happening here. Yeah, but you guys can see the huge push here. So I drew this up earlier. And you guys can see how much of a movement has happened since market open. Market open right here at 6:30. Price pushed up extremely high. Retracement is overdue right now. So we'll see. We'll see if the news event pushes price down. But as you guys can see, there's nothing going on. So worst time to take entry right now. If you're in any position, I would probably get out and profit if you are in a position, because I'm expecting a spike to happen right now. Not right now, but in the next 3 minutes, price is either going to spike up or it's going to spike down. I don't trade news because it's basically a gamble. So we'll see where this ends up going. There's a possible entry right here, guys, as I mentioned, not one I would take because of the news event. But if we do get a sell signal here, this will technically be entry. So we'll see where this ends up going. $6.57. All right, 2 minutes till news. Price is not even moving at all. It's moving like about 100 pips per candle, which is not very much. Another sell signal right there. Yeah, as you guys can see, price is starting to squeeze. And you guys know what happens when price squeezes. When price squeezes like this, it's just getting ready for a breakout. higher high, pending sell signal. Right here would be a possible entry, but again, as I mentioned, guys, I'm not taking it because news is coming up right here, and it's a very high impact news event. Glenn said, I need some motivation, Sean. Can I ask you a question? Yeah, sure. What's your question? All right, possible. Yeah, Nick. Possible a sell entry here, but it's not closing. So it's still technically going sideways. I'm not taking the trade though, guys. So I'll mark it up for you guys, but I'm not taking it. So expect a pretty big spike when it ends up. All right, so there was no entry there. We had the higher high sell signal, but the candle didn't break and close below the pivot. So there's no entry there for a sell. This candle would need to break and close below that blue pivot. Glenn is asking, what car do you drive? I own a Porsche Taycan Turbo. So that's my daily driver. I'm looking for another car, but not right now. I'm looking for a Lamborghini Urus, but not at the moment because I think price is going to drop for them as we get closer into the recession. People are going to have to sell off and get rid of their toys. So I'm going to try to get that for a discount when time's right. So yeah, I have right now I drive a Porsche Taycan Turbo. Okay, so news events coming up right here. Guys, news event in about 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's see what happens. So here's the news candle right here, guys. I'm going to mark up news price. So I'd be careful about taking entries, guys, because if the market's not really moving too much right now, it's probably going to move after. So it'll probably have a later effect. I think right now people are kind of like anticipating where price is going. So I think the market's kind of screwing with people right now because it's not really moving. But eventually the movement is going to happen once the market makers decide where they want to push price. So there's not really too much going on right here. Price is just flat, which is very unusual for this type of news event. I think the market makers are just waiting for people to hop onto one side, and then whichever side has more people, they're going to spike price the other way. So, and there we go. See where price is starting to move? There we go. So it's starting to push up a little bit. Not as big of a spike as I was kind of anticipating. See the news event real quick. Let's refresh it. Negative. So it's pretty much, I mean, you have expected it to be negative because we are in, somewhat of a recession. So it was going to be negative regardless. But you can see how price is kind of going up. So I think this is going to be a fake out. I think price will continue pushing up a little bit to lure people in. And then eventually it's just going to come right back down. So here's a higher high. We get that sell signal that breaks and close below. I think that's going to continue pushing price down a little heavier. So something to look out for here if you guys are looking to take any entries. So we got the higher high there. If we get a sell signal here and it breaks and closes below the pivots 1 and 2, it's gonna be a possible entry for a sell. At the moment, we don't have that yet, but that's kind of what we're looking for at this moment. See, Nick said, I'm thinking it spikes down on news, but don't bet on it. Yeah. I mean, price has to come down. As you guys can see, it's way overextended. So you can see how price pushed up from here. It's pushed up about 3,000 pips. So it's due for a retracement. It's going to have to come down at some point, right? I mean, it can't keep pushing up forever. It can push up for a while, but not forever. So we have a double body rejection right there. So there's one hint right there of a reversal happening. Hasn't confirmed it yet. There's going to be a new higher high here. So if it pushes up a little higher, this is going to be invalidated. It's going to create a new higher high. There we go. So there's a new higher high right there. And it's still pushing up from where it's currently at. Cool. Yeah, Christian said the high-low scalp just hit. So I'm not sure if anyone took that trade there, but there was a high-low scalp right here that Christian was looking at. There was a higher high right there. Price broke and closed above the pivot as a high-low scalp. So we're looking for a high-low momentum scalp, but if you guys are looking for the other strategies, that's one right there that a lot of people apply as well. There's also a triple confluence. Yeah, you're right, Nick. So that right there was a triple confluence. It was a momentum, it was a high-low scalp, also an intraday scalp, and then on top of that, a pivot scalp, because price was above the pivots, buy signal, broke and closed above this higher high. So it was a triple confluence. Nice. Maddie caught it. Nick didn't catch it, fortunately. Yeah, I mean, he saw it, Nick. Should take it. It's all good. There'll be more entries. All right, so here we go. Here's the higher high. Here is a possible sell signal that could be on its way. So yeah, if you get a sell signal that breaks and closes below the pivots right here, you know, possible entry for a sell right there. Maria said her internet sucks today. See you tomorrow. Definitely, Maria. See you back here tomorrow. Yeah, internet connection is key, guys. If your internet connection is not doing so well for the day, probably don't trade, because the last thing you want to do is take a trade and then your internet connection freezes and then your MT4 is unable to exit out of your position. I think that's probably the worst thing that could happen. All right, higher high right here. No sell signal yet. We're looking for that sell signal to break and close below pivots 1 and 2 right here. If that happens, and possible entry. If not, then we just got to keep waiting. The volume here is pretty low. All right, there goes the pending sell. So if you guys are doing a 1-to-1, that'd be the 1-to-1, 300, 300. But if you guys are doing the regular, 10-30 split, then it would be 100 pips below. We got 20 seconds left on this candle here. The sell signal is not active. It's currently pending, but it's not currently active at the moment. And we still need price to break and close below the blue pivot right here. If it doesn't happen, then there's no entry. No entry. Here goes another possible, entry, but still not available yet. All right, so we got the higher high right here. We have the pending sell signal right there. If you guys want to do the 1-to-1, I'll have it marked up, but I'm probably only going to go for the 10 if it does close. So we're looking for the sell signal to break and close below pivot 2 right here. It's got to close though, so just keep that in mind, guys. You got to wait for it to actually close. Don't just enter the trade early. It's got to close below it. It's got 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, no entry. All right, one more attempt right here. Still hasn't closed. All right, we got another 40 seconds here for this candle to close. We got 30 seconds left. Just having trouble getting past the pivot. Just tested it like twice already. We got 20 seconds left on this candle. Still no confirmation. 10 seconds left. Does not look like it's going to close. 3 seconds, 2, 1, no entry. All right, so it doesn't look like we're going to get one here, guys. We have a new high low in between, so this is pretty much going to invalidate it. The only way we can get an entry here is if we get that sell signal. Actually, we're not going to have an entry here, guys. So we already have a lower high right here. So even if we were to get a sell signal, we wouldn't be able to take the entry because we have a high low in between. We have a high low down here and we have a lower high right here. So it's not going to be a straight shot. We need a higher high and then a sell signal to follow with a break and close below the pivot. But we don't have that. So no entry. And now we just got to wait for another setup to come up. All right. So there goes that. Still expecting price to come down though. It's been pushing up for way too long. So we'll see where this ends up going. See, we got some profits over here from, let's see, Christian over here from that buy that he took earlier in Kenny. So we have Kenny over here, total profit of 700 for the day. Nice work, Kenny. And we have Christian over here, total profit of 650. He took that buy for that high-low scalp. It was also a triple confluence. It looks like Kenny took the same thing. So they both took that trade earlier. So nice work, Kenny. And nice work, Christian. Total profit of 650. We've got Kenny here, 700. And we have Cameron over here, total profit of 1,122 for the day. Nice work, Cameron. And also, if you guys didn't see the post from Friday, big congrats to Anelli over here. You guys have seen him do in the group. So Nelly, he finally got his max allocation. He has 400K with FTMO now. Total profit payout of 36,566. So as you guys can see, Nelly, like if you guys have been in the group for a while, you guys probably know Nelly. He's been around for like well over a year now, maybe 2 years, and he wasn't consistent. So he's like, a clear example is if you guys focus and follow directions, you guys can get to this point. You can get max allocated just like Anelli here, and you can also get a huge payout from FTMO. So it's just really about consistency. Like Anelli had the same problems as a lot of you guys, like over trading, revenge trading, taking random trades. But once he really got it down and stayed focused, he was able to reach new levels. So big congrats to Anelli there. Let's see. We have Patricia over here, total profit of 1,640 for the day. Nice work, Patricia. All wins. And we have Narith over here, total profit of 1,518. Nice work. Full CP on that trade. All right, guys, great work so far. Looking for a possible entry here, guys. We have a higher high. We're looking for price to break and close below the pivots here with a sell signal. If we get that, then there's going to be an entry there for a sell. Still don't have it yet, but possible entry coming up right here. So we're just waiting for this to break and close below. Break and close below and with a sell signal. All right, we got 20 seconds left on this candle. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1, no entry. All right, still no entry. Another one right here, possible pending. There's a pending sell signal right there, looking for the same thing, break and close below the pivots. If we get that there, then possible entry for a sell. But again, we are just waiting for that to come down. I don't really like the market when it's moving like this. As you guys can see, the volatility is very low, right? It's not the type of market that we want to be trading in. We want volatility to be high because we're trading based off momentum. So if the volatility is very low, this becomes it becomes a lot more riskier than it needs to be, because typically these trades will hit TP after like a minute or two, if not less. And if the volatility is low, that just means that price can keep going sideways for a bit. So it's not really the best type of market conditions to be trading in. But if we see something good, then we'll take it. If not, then we'll just have to sit tight a little bit. But yeah, I don't like the way the market's moving. It's like these candles are so small. This is kind of how it was moving last week, right? It's just not the type of movement we need. So you guys can see it a lot better here on the clean chart. As you guys can see, market was moving very volatile like about 30 minutes ago. Now the market's pretty much died down a bit. Yeah, Nick said price could just be squeezing though. Yeah, squeezing for that breakout to the downside because it's going to have to correct at some point. It's just up too high. So we have a pending sell signal right here, guys. We'll see where this ends up going, but at the moment, there's just nothing for us to take right now. All right. Man, this market sucks. I was hoping today was going to be a lot better because usually the first of the month is usually pretty volatile. Um, so this is technically the first of the month for April because the market closed on March 31st on Friday. And I was hoping the market was going to be very volatile, not very volatile, but volatile enough today because we did have high impact news and it was the first of the month. A lot of new contracts reopening for the new quarter, for the new month, and for the new week. But the volatility is just it's dead, especially for Monday. Usually volatility is usually pretty high for a Monday, but it seems like a lot of people are. So what I'm guessing right now is like a lot of people are waiting for that movement to happen from news today. So I'm sure a lot of people are expecting, like some spike in price off this news. Like we were kind of expecting price to push up from here. But if you guys can see, price only pushed up about 500 pips, which is nothing. For a big news event like this, ISM manufacturing PMI and ISM manufacturing prices, you'd expect, price to push at least 1,000 pips. I was expecting at least 1,000 pip push from where it was right here. But as you guys can see, we didn't obviously get that. So news candle is right here. I mean, it's close to it, but not really. I was expecting, 1,000 pip push to the downside or 1,000 pip push to the upside, but obviously that didn't happen. Doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It can probably happen later. As I mentioned earlier, it can have a later effect. So sometimes it doesn't have that initial push. I think what's happening right now is that the market makers are still churning. So they're churning price up and down, looking for where the retail traders are sitting. If there's more retail traders on the sell side, they're probably going to spike price up. And then vice versa. If there's a lot of retail traders who are currently chasing this for a buy, they'll probably spike price down. It's all trades, it's all psychological. So we're basically looking to, it's like playing chess. You're kind of identifying where people are going to be moving their pieces. And I think right now they're just turning price up and down. But eventually I'm expecting price to have a big push either to the upside or to the downside. So if you look over here on the clean chart, if price pushes down, it's got a long way to go. If it pushes back to opening price right here, that is going to be a 2,000 pip move. And then vice versa, if price continues to push up, you can probably go on the higher time frames like the 40 or the 4-hour. So if it pushes up higher, it can push up to like maybe this structure up here, because this is the structure that hasn't been met yet. So if I use a high-low indicator, there's different price points that need to be tested to some extent. So if price ends up pushing up, it's got a long way to go, right? To that next resistance, 3,000 pips. So, I mean, it could go 3,000 pips up or it can go 2,000 pips down. Either way, price is going to push either up or it's going to push down. And I think the market makers right now are kind of just waiting to see where they want to push price. Yeah, Nick said 57% long sentiment. So looking over here at retail sentiment, let me check real quick. Are you looking somewhere else, Nick? Because it says 67 for me short. Because you said 57% long. Yeah, Maddie said trying to lure in some more sellers. I think that's what's happening here too. I think they'll probably drop price temporarily just for a little bit, and then they'll spike price right back up. Yeah, I'm on IG right now, Nick. I don't know if you've updated yours, but I just refreshed it. So it says 67% short, not long. because it's been short. Like when you said earlier, you mentioned that it was like we were on the same page, but now it's like yours is a little different. Let me see. Yeah, it's the same thing, Nick. I don't know where you got that number from, because you said set 67% long. It's 67% short on my end on both pages. So I don't know where you got the 57 long from. 67 short here, 67 short here. You got to refresh it. You probably haven't refreshed it. Yeah, because if you scroll up earlier, Nick, this morning you said it was like I don't know, the number changed so much. Let's see what you mentioned over here. Let me scroll down a little bit. Yeah, everyone says 67. I think it's your internet connection, Nick. It might be you. Because earlier this morning, you said it was like the same as mine. So your number was right when we well, what did you say this morning? Let me scroll down. Let's see. Nick said I don't know, I can't even see your message. But I remember you mentioned it earlier this morning. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, you might have to clear your cookies on your computer, Nick, because you probably have like it keeps like when you open it up, it probably pulls up the old page. So you might have to just remove your cookies and clear your catch or whatever, catchy. But yeah, it's 67. I would just go off this, Nick, because this is, I mean, it's the same thing, but this is like I never have issues with this page. I mean, it's the same thing, but it seems like that other page, when you're on it, it kind of gets stuck on like whatever it was set to in the past. Anyways, guys, there's no entries for us here. Don't worry, you guys are not missing out on anything. We currently have a lower high right here. We need a higher high or a lower low. And then we need a sell signal to confirm the swing to the downside, but we just don't have it yet. All right, let's see if there's anything else here that I'm missing. No, that's about it. All right, so just waiting for this to come up, but Nick said Dow is mostly green today. Yeah, it's been green. It's been green since open because it's, if you look at CNBC, it's been bullish pretty much all day. So it should be green. It's up 352 points right now. So it's been green since pre-market. Yeah, not too much has been changing just yet. So yeah, with it being green. So this is where it becomes a bit of a confusion, right? Because it's very green right now, but a lot of retail traders are looking to take sells. So we have a possible sell signal right here, guys, but no entry because we need a higher high here in order for us to take this sell entry. So there's no entry here. First step in this strategy is to identify a higher high or lower low. This is a lower high. So this doesn't meet criteria for an entry. We need to wait for that higher high to come up. All right. Is there anything here for me to look at? Yeah, I don't see anything right now, guys. All right, so we just got a high lows in between, no higher highs, no lower lows. Let me just turn this off right here. So back to the clean chart, as you guys can see, there's not really too much going on. There's a lot of big wicks happening over here. It looks like a resistance might be forming up here if it doesn't continue to push up higher. So we'll see if this, what kind of effect this has on the market. See if price breaks it. All right, if price breaks, it's going to create a new higher high. Hasn't broke it yet. It's just having issues getting past this area. And this is a dead market. The market's so slow right now for a Monday. I still think that the market's still being, I mean, that's literally what's happening. As you guys can see, the market's turning right now. It's not really pushing up or it's not really pushing down. It seems like the market makers and institutions are just waiting because there's not enough volatility right now. If the market makers and institutions were playing in the market right now, there would be some movement. But it looks like they're both kind of just waiting for one person to make a move. So not one person, but one entity to make a move. Because there's nothing that's really going on right here. This looks like a summer market. It looks like a market where there's no institutions or market makers kind of playing in the market. It seems like it's just going, because it's weird. It's 7:30 right now. So usually volatility is pretty high at this time, especially if institutions are playing. But it does not look like they are playing right now. They're kind of just waiting for someone to push price one way, and then either they're going to chase it or they're going to stop it. So just be careful for any entries here, guys. As you can see over here, obviously the institutions and market makers are playing right here. They push price up. So price was consolidating right here. I can go from the clean chart actually. Let me just, okay. So you can see right here, this is pre-market. Show you guys that there wasn't really too much movement right here. Right, so you guys can see right here, it was pretty much just a lot of back and forth movement. And then what happened here was the institutions and market makers pushed price up on open. So from this point, they just kind of bandwagoned onto it. Like one institution probably pushed price up, another market maker hopped onto it and just pushed price even higher. And then here, it's the same thing. Price is just going sideways until they decide to find a specific direction to push price. But right now, they just haven't really pushed it. So it's all about like psychology, it's the psychology side of things, where they're kind of looking for where will they make more money, right? Will the institutions make more money by dropping price down, or will they make more money pushing price up? And the thing is, like, they have to think too, because they can't just push price, because if they push price, then one person's going to get screwed. So we'll see. But yeah, the volatility here is very low for a Monday. It's low for a Monday, and it's low for initial quarter opening, because this is we're entering the second quarter. We're entering the second quarter. It's also the first of the month. A lot of new contracts opening. You expect price to they kind of did push price up here, but it wasn't really like a huge push. Because it looks heavy here on the 1 minute, but if you go over here on the higher time frames, like say the 4 hour. Price has been pushing for a while now. So they started pushing price around like the end of March, right here. March 24th, price started getting pushed up higher and higher and higher. So looking over here on the 4 hour, it looks like price is actually reaching a resistance right there. So what you might see here is price might push up and then bounce off it. You might see something like this. Oops. Yeah, price might push up a little bit, bounce off the resistance, and come right back down. Off the 4 hour right there. So it's due for retracement. I mean, it's overextended in all the time frames, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, etc. But you can see over here that there's just nothing going on the 1 minute. Yeah, Maddie mentioned if it makes a move down, it will not be smooth at all. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting too, Maddie. I'm expecting it to be choppy. Yeah, Maddie said I think either direction they choose to go, they'll spike it randomly to stop both sides out. Yeah, I could see that too. There's no other news for today that's really coming up aside from OPEC that's still discussing right now. The Fed's speaking later at 1 o'clock today. I think that's about it. Yeah, there's not really too much. There's Fed Cook speaking at 1 o'clock today. To keep in mind, guys, this is NFP week as well. So we do have NFP on Friday, I believe. We should. Is it today or this week? It should be this week. Yeah, so we do have NFP on Friday. So there's a lot of things happening this week. It's NFP. It's also the first of the month. It's also the first of the quarter. So a lot of stuff happening. So the market might move slow today and it'll pick up like later on this week. Yeah, Cisic mentioned it earlier on market open. It is NFP. So the thing with NFP is that it's like a hit or miss, right? When you trade NFP, it's either going to be really good for you or for us, or it's going to be really bad. Right now, it's really slow. So typically when the market's slow on Monday, and this is only from experience because we trade every day. So, you know, for the how many NFPs we've traded, NFP weeks, typically if it's slow on Monday, it'll pick up like on Wednesday. So it'll usually be slow Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it'll start to move up a lot higher and it'll start to move a little crazy. There's some NFP weeks where it's just crazy all week, but this week it's not looking like it. It's kind of just slow for the most part. Yeah, CT said price is squeezing here, should jump soon. Yeah, I can see that too. As you guys can see, if you guys are not familiar with like price squeezing, typically when price squeezes like this, it's preparing for a breakout. Right? It's just getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and then it's going to break out in either direction eventually. I mean, yeah, price is really super slow right now. Cisic said volume is going to be slow because opening quarter with NFP. Yeah. All right, so it's just a waiting game, guys. If there's any questions that you guys have, you know, feel free to put your questions in the chat. But for the most part, there's just nothing going on right here. Price is still squeezing. So we'll just end up, we just gotta wait for this. Yeah, C6 said today's pure patience. I'm gonna take a nap. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's nothing that you guys, even if you guys wanted to take a trade here, it wouldn't matter because there's no volume. So even if you took a buy or a sell, you'd be stuck in this position. If you guys can see the range over here, we'll measure it from this area to here. So if you were to take a trade here, the range right now is currently like 400 pips, which is not really anything, super small. And I mean, the spread's not too bad. Spread's 140 right now on FTMO. It's not horrible, but the movement's just super slow at the moment. All right, we got a pending sell signal right there, but it wouldn't matter because it's not going to be relevant for any of our entries. I think I'd be a little more wary taking a buy here because it looks like price already established the resistance right here, or it's establishing it right now. So I'd be careful taking any buys here. Well, I mean, I'd be careful taking any entry right now because, so with the resistance right here, if you were to take a sell, I could maybe see price coming down on news price right here. However, if you're taking a buy, like say, for example, price swings back up, I would be careful about taking a buy there because price can just come back. So it can come down, come back up, and then come right back down. Right? You could see something like that playing out. So right now is just not a good time to take any entry, whether it's a buy or a sell, because I think price can get manipulated to either direction. And if you wanted to draw a box, like, you know, a lot of people like drawing the box pattern. Or you can't even have like a clean box here because if you were to draw a box, they just overlap. But yeah, you guys can see the box pattern right there. It's just going sideways. Like you could either draw the box pattern like this, or you can draw it like this. Either way, Either way, you guys can see it's still a box pattern because it's gonna break out eventually. It's just a matter of time until it does break out to the upside or to the downside. All right, so we are back to waiting. There's no entry here because there's no higher high or lower low. It's lower high here and a higher low right here. CC said small little candles are institutional algo candles. I would not mess with this. Wait for that jump CC mentioned. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for too. The candles are too small. There's no direction here. Gotcha, CC. I just saw your message in the think tank. All right, I'm gonna step away for 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Still no movement. The market gonna move? So let's see. Market's been kind of flat for like about, let's see, for like over 30 minutes now. About 35 minutes. Price has been going sideways. Pretty unusual for market open. Like I was expecting at least some movement, but we'll see. All right, so we got a lower low right here. Price is starting to pick up a little bit, as you guys can see. Volatility is starting to pick up a little more, not a lot, but a little more. This candle right here is about 100 pips. It's not too much, but it's more than the previous candles. So we have a lower low right here. We could possibly be looking for a buy, which is kind of preference here. Lower low right here, possible buy signal. If we get that buy signal, possible pushback to the upside. So we got lower low right there. Candle's going to close right now. We'll see if this corrects back up. Again, it is just a waiting game. All right, new lower low right there. Still waiting for still waiting for this to play out. Got the lower low right there. Candles are still a little slower, but these most recent two candles are a lot bigger than the previous ones for the past 20 minutes. It's still like a 100 pip candle, but it's not very, okay, there we go. There's the volatility picking up now. Big red candle right there, lower low right there. Here goes, price starts to correct back to the downside. I was kind of expecting this to happen. You guys saw my markup right here. I already marked up the resistance, so we already anticipated this to drop. This could be a fake out though, so just keep that in mind. This could be a fake out because, as you know, majority of retail traders are currently selling right now. It's currently 69% short. The market makers are not going to make it easy for these retail traders to make their money back. So a lot of them are starting to chase the sell here, but this can be clear manipulation. Price could just drop slightly and then it'll shoot all the way back up. Because I'm sure you're going to see this number here start to increase. So a lot of people are going to bandwagon onto those sells. It's currently 69%. If this increases to like 70, that's going to indicate that retail traders are starting to take the bait. You're luring in some more sellers right here before they spike price right back up and stop everybody out. So yeah, I could see this as a fake out like Maddie mentioned. Yeah, Karen said it's hitting liquidity. Pretty much knocked out the liquidity right here, guys. But I think price is probably going to come back up. So as you guys can see, liquidity right here is getting knocked out like Karen mentioned. All the liquidity right here got hit, but then I could see it come right back up. So pretty much waiting for this to swing back up. We have a lower low right here. Probably going to establish a new one right here as well. Yeah, Maddie said he wouldn't be surprised if it shoots all the way back up. Yeah, I wouldn't either. There's too many retail traders on the sell side. So I'm not expecting this to have like a huge, like, you know, they're just luring in some more sellers, like, so they can spike price back up and pretty much stop everybody out. So I wouldn't chase the sell here, guys. You know, if you use basic logic, if everybody's looking to sell here, the market maker's going to do pretty much opposite. So looking for this lower low to get established, and I'm looking for a buy signal to push price right back above the pivots. So just be careful. If you guys are looking for any trades here, I think especially a sell is going to be very risky. Because if there's so many people on the sell side, I don't think they're gonna just let price drop. Because, you know, just think about that. Like if there's like 70% of retail traders who are currently selling and they drop price down super heavy, all those people are going to make so much money off that trade. But then what happens to the rest of the other people, right? They might drop price a little lower. So I think this is the area where price might drop to possibly, and then it'll probably swing back up. If it goes down farther than this, then I mean, I personally would be probably pretty surprised if price drops any lower than this area here. So this would probably be a support area. Or I mean, price might just swing up from where it's currently at. So here we go, some sideways movement. I think the thing to keep an eye out for here is if this number increases. I hate this pop-up. All right, still 69. But we'll see if that number increases. So basically what we're doing here, guys, is we're playing contrarian, right? If everybody here, like retail traders are currently selling, we're looking to do the opposite because I'm looking to outsmart the retail trader, basically. We are retail traders ourselves, but we're not looking to trade in the same direction as everybody else. We want to do the opposite. So if everybody's looking for a sell here, and I'm looking for this number here to increase, you know, I'm expecting the market makers to do the opposite and push price up. So I think people who took the sell here are starting to freak out. I mean, I would be freaking out if I was in a sell right here, because you can see prices now going sideways. Like imagine you guys took the sell right here, like at any point, and then now price is just flat. I wouldn't be surprised if price spikes up super heavy and just stops everybody out. Or not everybody, but you know, a lot of people who took the sell right there. Because like if I took the sell here and price started going sideways, I would be second guessing my position at that point, because I would have expected price to come down already. But at this point, price is kind of just messing with people. There's a new lower low right here. Like I'm glad I'm not in the position right now because I'd be pretty stressed out, because I could see price spike up or I can see price spike down, but there's no real certainty as to where it's going to be spiking. All right, we got the lower low. Let's see what happens here. Here's all the time frames, as you guys can see. Clean this up a little bit. Still pretty bullish. Bullish on the 4, bullish on the 1, bullish on the 30. Higher time frames over here as well, still pretty bullish. Only time frame where it's starting to shift is a 1 minute. All right, let's see if this is going to be our point of entry. All right, if we get a buy signal here and it breaks and closes past the pivot 2, then there will be an entry for us here. Price is starting to shift back up. It's not a strong shift, but it is a shift back to the upside. All right, 10 seconds left on here. Pending buy signal right here on this current candle. Yeah, Maddie said sideways squeeze and break. So we got a pending buy signal right here, guys. Again, this candle needs to close above the blue pivot. If it doesn't, then no entry. But if it does, then there's an entry there. So we're looking for this buy signal to break and close above the pivot right there. If it doesn't close, then no entry. Lower low right here. Still going sideways. There might be a new lower low here. So if this is the case here, okay, so there's no entry for us right now, guys. This lower high pretty much invalidated it. Yeah, Maddie said it's probably gonna go sideways for a bit. I could see that too. I wouldn't mind if price pushes down lower and provides a new lower low, because from there we can look for another entry. But right now, there's no entry for us because this lower high over here pretty much invalidated it, unless this next candle pushes past this area and it provides us another possible opportunity for entry. Price is still going sideways, so not really expecting too much out of it yet. This candle would have to break at some point, though, like some point soon. All right, we got 15 seconds left. And you guys can see where price is having trouble passing. It's having trouble passing the news price right here, this pink line. So I drew this news price right here from 7 o'clock. You can see all the wicks bouncing off this specific price point. Price is having a hard time breaking and closing past it. So what I'll do here, guys, is I'll hang on with you guys. I'll stay on this live session a little after 8. Possibly wait for like at least one entry here. Typically, that's the only time I'll stay after 8 if like we haven't had anything the entire morning session. Because it's 7:46 right now. If the volume stays low, it's probably going to pick up as we get closer to 8 o'clock. So a lot of sideways movement here still. A new lower low. This is perfect. It's what we were looking for. So we got a new lower low right here. If we get a buy signal on the next candle, possible entry for us. But this is fine. This is what I was looking for. So new lower low right here. I wouldn't mind if price comes down, bounces off the support. So I wouldn't mind if this happened here. Price came down, bounced off, and swung right back up. All right, there we go. Price is bouncing, touching the support. Let's see if it bounces or if it breaks it. All right, so I think there might be a fake out right here. So you can see how price is breaking below the support. I think this could be a fake out, because what I'm thinking personally is I'm looking at what other people are thinking who are looking for a sell, and I think a lot of people are going to chase this sell here. So, you know, if I was looking for price to break and close past structure, for me personally, you know, what a lot of people look for is for price to break and close past it, and then they start to chase a sell here. As soon as they chase a sell, what happens? Price spikes all the way back up, right? So I can see this as being a fake out. Right here, volume is definitely picking up a lot more, which is great. Price is starting to drop right here. I would be really careful if you guys are looking to take a sell here, because I think this is going to be a fake out for me personally. Because from all the years I've been trading, I've gone burnt with these types of positions a lot of times. where I wait for price to break and close past structure, and then it just ends up reversing on me. So that's why I kind of see that happening too, because I've lost a lot of trades taking trades like this, waiting for price to finally break and close below, fakes out, ends up doing the complete opposite and goes straight back up. So huge wick right there on the bottom, lower low. All right, so we'll see if price comes back up here. So I'm looking for that buy signal. We have a lower low right here. Let's see if price swings back up. Let's see the number over here. All right, sentiment hasn't really changed too much. Still about the same amount of people on the sell side. All right, so price is still below the support. There's still no entries for us here. There's another lower low there. Yeah, I'd be careful for the fake out right here. Just looking at the candles here, you guys can see the bottom wicks on pretty much every candle that comes up. The wicks on the bottom are pretty big. So that kind of indicates that there's a lot of uncertainty. Price does not necessarily have the strength to push down any lower. You know, we might even get like a V1 variation reversal pattern here. All right, so check this out. We have a lower low right here. We have a double body. If this closes, this could be a reversal pattern back to the upside. V1 variation pending right there. All right, so we got that reversal pattern right there. Price might be swinging back up, but we'll see. A couple seconds left on this candle here. All right, let's see where this ends up going. So V1 variation right there. Reversal pattern. Let's see if it pushes back up and provides us opportunity for entry. And still no opportunity there. So there's new lower low right here. And again, we might get another reversal pattern. So I'm not taking any entries here, guys. I'm looking for this to come up. In order for us to have this buy entry, we need a lower low, and we need price to break and close above the pivots right there, pivots 1 and 2. See how far it's going right here. Check the numbers over here again. Still the same. All right, price is rejecting off earlier news price right here. This was the where's this from? 6:45, right? We had news earlier this morning, 6:45. I think I might accidentally move this. Let's move down a little bit. Right there. All right, price is rejecting off the news price right there. All right, it's gonna take longer than I expected. I was hoping we'd get a possible entry here, but we still don't have that yet. I would still be wary about taking sells right now because there's so many retail traders on the sell side. If I was on the sell side, I'd be praying that price would come down, but I'm glad that I'm not because I think price will do the opposite. All right, we got the lower low right here. Possible push back to the upside, maybe a V2 variation reversal pattern. If this closes as a strong green candle, possible reversal pattern there. If not, it's just a regular rejection off that point. All right, so we're still waiting for this to come up. All right. There's nothing going on here. I was hoping we start, like the volume started picking up and I was hoping something would happen, but it's just back to going sideways again. We still have the lower low right here. So if price does push up, we still have the opportunity to take a buy. We just don't, it hasn't come up yet. So I'm looking for price to do something here. I mean, we still have the lower low. It's rejecting directly off the news price from earlier this morning, 645. You can see the areas here. So if you look over here, there's two areas where price had trouble getting past. Looking above here, price had trouble getting past this news price. And then now that price is below here, it's having trouble getting past this news price. This is why markup news, because these price structures typically have some sort of significance, especially if price has trouble getting past it. So, I mean, this might be the bounce. We have 2 wick rejections right here, basically a double bottom off this news price. And we'll see if this ends up coming back up, or if it doesn't, then again, we're just going to be waiting. All right, if this drops lower, it'll establish a new lower low. But at the moment, we just don't have anything yet. All right, still nothing. The volume pretty much died down again. Picked up for a little bit right here for a few seconds and then, or a few minutes, and then it's extremely flat now with these 2 current candles. Here's a Nelly. He's kind of just playing on his demo account for today. So he's currently up 12,828. Nice work, Nelly. So yeah, if you guys are not comfortable with the market conditions, you guys can always just play around with the demo account. Like for example, right here, I'm not really comfortable taking any positions because nothing's come up. But if you want to try out other things and try other strategies, you're always more than welcome to open a demo account and play around with it. Yeah, nice work, Anelli. It's a nice 12K for some risky moves here. Let's see what did Anelli take today. So let me look at the timestamps. He took some buys earlier in the morning, took a sell back to the downside, and then continued to catch these drops lower. Looks like Anelli was catching these liquidity pushes, which is pretty solid. He looks like the sells he took right here when price was hitting liquidity. Yeah, pretty much these areas right here. Nice sell. Another one right there. And another one down there. All right, so we're still waiting here. Currently have a new lower low right here. But as you guys can see, price is having a really hard time getting past the news price right here. So it's tested it about 4 times. Cannot close below. I wouldn't be surprised if this here doesn't close below either. Or it could be another fake out. All right, volatility is picking up slightly. Let's check the sentiment again. Where is sentiment right now? So if you guys look over here, the number is starting to change. It was currently 69. It's now 68. Looks like a lot of retail traders are just either taking profit or they're just pulling out for a small loss or whatever. They're switching their positions now because I think a lot of them are starting to realize that price is likely to swing back up. It's now at 68. Was at 69 earlier. All right, we got the lower low right here. Yeah, let's see where this ends up going. All right, we have the lower low right here. Price is getting close to the pivots. Let's see if we get that buy signal to push price right back up. So let's see if this fake out here ends up playing through. So we currently have the lower low. We don't have a pending buy signal, and we're looking for price to break and close past the pivots. So lower low, looking for this to break and close past the pivots and a buy signal. All right, nothing there. Here goes another lower low. All right. So it just keeps establishing new lower lows, which is fine. We're looking for that pushback to the upside. I'm basically looking to identify the reversal here, which I think it's on its way. It's just a matter of time. It's about to be 8 o'clock, guys, but it's fine. I'll stay online with you guys for a little bit longer. We've been waiting long enough for this entry. So we'll hang on for a bit and see if we get something come up here. But at the moment, it's still going sideways. There's not really much movement going on. Price is coming down, but it keeps flatlining once it gets to a certain area. So I'm expecting a fake out here and a possible pushback to the upside. Let's take a look at sentiment again. All right, sentiment is the same, not really much going on. Either people are holding on to the position or they're just pulling out. All right, so let's see what happens here. Still got the lower low. Lower low right there. Price starting to push back up. All right, 10 seconds left on this candle. And we'll see if this starts to swing up on the next candle, the buy signal. All right. All right, we got the lower low. Now we're just waiting for this possible buy signal to come up. All right, still nothing. Let's see if we get another lower low here. So it just keeps establishing new lower lows, as you guys can see. Eventually we're gonna find the bottom. Like when the lower low is done establishing, it's going to be established as the bottom, basically, which is fine because we want to get in at the very bottom, right? Or you want to identify where the very bottom is. So it's okay if price continues to push down lower because this lower low is going to keep getting established until it finally figures out where's the bottom at. So I actually don't mind if it continues to drop a little lower. But the volume here is so low. If you guys measure each candle, so I'm not going to measure the wicks. I'm just going to measure the bodies because the bodies are going to really indicate how much the candles have been actually moving. So looking at these bodies over here, each body is like about 30 pips, which is extremely small. Typically a normal body would be about 100 pips or 200 pips. Like this body over here is about 200 pips, right? That's a normal candle. These bodies over here are like mini sizes. Like they're so small compared to a regular candle size. All right, so we have, let's see. I'm going to go and delete this real quick. All right, so if this ends up sticking where it's currently at, we might have a support that's been established right here. We don't have it yet, but this could be the possible support. Unless it creates a new lower low. If it creates a new lower low, then it's going to drop it down a bit lower. But at the moment, this is the current support. All right, new lower low. So as you guys can see, that lower low there disappeared, and there's a new one here, which is completely fine because as I mentioned, once this lower low has been established, it's going to identify the possible bottom. So if I go over here and I just show you guys only higher highs and lower lows, you guys can see here where price starts to establish where the highs and the bottoms are. Basically the tops and bottoms. Like down here, it established the bottom. Up here, established the top. Right now, we currently have a pending low, which could be established as a possible bottom. Again, another one right there. It just keeps updating, which is fine because we actually want that to happen so we don't get caught in the middle. Yeah, exactly. Christian said low, low, low. Yeah, it just keeps creating new lows. Eventually, it's going to establish a floor. Check the sentiment again. And this is basically what Maddie mentioned earlier. So he mentioned if price does drop, it's not going to be a smooth drop. And you guys can see price keeps going back and forth. It'll stop, push up a little bit, stop, push up a little bit. Yeah, so if you're in a sell, I'd be careful. Just, if you're taking any positions right now, I'd probably go for smaller moves. I wouldn't hold this for a longer push because this can easily just shift at any moment. So if you're going for small scalps, it's fine. But if you're holding it for too long, obviously it's going to be a lot more riskier. Market officially sucks for Monday. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I'm still looking for an entry here, but there's no entries for us to take. As I mentioned, we've been looking since 6:30 a.m. So 6:30 a.m. market open over here. There hasn't been any entries. There's no entry here for a sell. There's no entry here for a buy. There's no entry here for a buy because price didn't establish a lower low. Same with this right here. There was no sell because there was no higher high. We're looking for price to pretty much establish a lower low and push price back to the upside. But price just keeps trickling down lower and lower. So we'll see. Okay, so price pushed from this area up here. And it's been coming down about 1,000 pips, which is fair. 1,000 pips seems fine. Looking over here on the higher time frames, as you guys can see, it's just retracing down slightly. So if you look over here on the 4-hour, 1 hour, and 30-minute time frames, price is just pushing down slightly. So I wouldn't necessarily base too much off of current movement right now, because this can easily shift right back up. So looking over here on the 1 hour, if I maximize this, this candle right here can just bounce off the pivot and then correct back to the upside. Same with the 30-minute over here. 30 minutes a little more clear because you can see the wick. This can easily bounce off the pivot as well. But yeah, I mean, we're still waiting for something here to play out. I mean, if we get a sell entry, I'm fine with taking sell entries as well. We just don't have any entry. If this was opposite of like what's happening here, if price does push up and it provides a higher high and then it comes back down using this strategy, I'm still fine with taking a sell. I can take a sell or I can take a buy. But what I'm doing here is I'm still looking for entry, which, I mean, obviously we don't have yet. But it just keeps establishing lower lows. Another lower low right here. This could be a possible V1 variation. So we have a lower low right there. This closes as a green candle. This could be a possible double body rejection, possible reversal pattern for it to, obviously correct back to the upside. If not, it's fine. But I'm looking for entries either way. It could be a sell, it could be a buy. Doesn't really matter to me. Hey, Brock, how's it going? Yeah, Brock said, hey, all. Good morning, Sean. Late to the game. Hopeful to get some. Yeah, you didn't miss much, Brock. We've been waiting for entries here pretty much all morning, but there hasn't been anything come up. So, yeah, looks like you got here just in time. Typically, I'm off by 8, but we haven't had any entries, so I'm still hanging around for a bit, looking for something here to come up. Because typically, if nothing comes up before 8, it'll happen like right after. And you guys have seen that before in the past, where like literally as soon as I get off, an entry comes up, and then we miss it. So I'm just waiting for one entry here if we can get it. If not, it's fine. But I'm going to hang around for a bit until we have something here come up. All right, we still have the lower low right here. Volume is very low right now, currently. We're basically waiting for price to push above the pivots right there. If it pushes and breaks and close above the pivots with a buy signal, possible entry for a buy. However, if it doesn't, then we're still technically waiting. All right, 5 seconds in. Yeah, Madhu said price might be going back to open. That's kind of what I see too, because price is already a little bit farther down. So I think areas for the bounce could be either at sessions or the open. So these are the two market or two price points that I can see price coming down a touch. Yeah, Glenn said it'll probably bounce off the session. That's where I'm seeing too, because that's the closest area that I can see. So, and these price structures are usually, they're pretty strong. So we'll see. I mean, if not, price might just push up from where it's currently at, but we don't really know if that's the case yet here. Yeah, two different price structures here for price to maybe possibly bounce off. The sessions or even the sessions down below are opening price. There's not too much going on here that I'll go and establish. We're all markup. Possible support. All right, Martha, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Let's see if we hit another lower low here. And we have another lower low. Right there. And we have another lower low. Let's see. Medusa 30-minute has a pending sell and a higher high. Gotcha. Okay. Looking over here on the 30. Yeah, so there's another hint there as well. So we do have a higher high right here on the 30 with a possible sell signal. And then also we here on the 1 hour, you have a higher high. No sell signal, but we do have a higher high. You can see over here on the 5, we actually had that come up higher high with the sell signal, came down pretty nice. And same here on the 10. So on the 5 and 10, we had a higher high with the sell signal, came down pretty nicely. For these indicators here, I can probably just set it up where, or it's not really necessary. I can just use it as is. But yeah, we do have that confirmation right there. All right, we have another lower low right here. This volume is killing me though. The volume, well, it's starting to pick up a little bit, but it's still pretty low. Okay, so we have another possible swing back to the downside right here. We have a lower low. Looks like price is attempting to get down to the sessions right here. Possible rejection point. Have us marked up. This might be the support that we were looking for. Let's see if it holds. The support in the bottom. But yeah, let's see where if it holds. Or my price might come down and reject off the pivot. I mean, not the pivot, off the sessions. So if this rejects off this point, this could be a double bottom. If not, it could fake out, reject off the sessions, and then come back up. It was a boring market. Yeah, I'm surprised there hasn't been too much movement. You know, when there's a heavy news day like today, or I mean, it wasn't super heavy news day, but with OPEC and also the ISM news, I was expecting a lot more volatility, but today's just been, it's been a snail market. I mean, price has been moving, but it's been super slow. Another lower low right here. Yeah, Glenson sentiment slightly changing, is down to 67%. Okay, so looking at this here, as you guys can see, retail traders are starting to shift. So it looks like a lot of people who are taking the sells, they're now starting to take out their sells, probably just pulling out of the market, which makes sense because prices dropped quite a bit and it is due for correction. All right, 8:15. Here we go with the lower low, price rejecting off the sessions. So this looks like a pretty solid price structure. All right, let's see if this ends up. This ends up finally swinging back to the upside. All right, so we got candle pushing up right here. If we get a buy signal, I need to break and close past the blue pivot, of course. So again, just a matter of patience here, guys. There's no buy signal yet. We've got 20 seconds left on this candle. No buy signal yet, though. 10 seconds left. Still need that buy signal. All right, we got the pending buy signal right here. This could be possible entry here if it closes. Again, you got to wait for the candle to actually close with the buy signal. So make sure to stay patient and wait for it to actually close. If it doesn't close, obviously no entry. So it's got to break and close above the pivot. Plus, it needs to have the buy signal in place. You have a lower low here, possible buy signal. But yeah, we got to wait for that buy signal to close. It needs to be valid. Green candle within it. It can't close invalid like that. It needs to close valid. All right, we've got 10 seconds left. We've got 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Fuck, it didn't even close. So the candle didn't close, guys, unfortunately. So there's no entry there. The candle did close above it. So the candle closed above it. There's no room for entry here. So there's no official entry for this specific move here. Man, I was waiting for that thing to close. Fortunately, it did not close. Let's see where it's at right now. So it would have hit. If it closed, it would have hit right there. But unfortunately, it did not qualify as official entry. Would have been solid. I took the trade though. So just an FYI, guys, I took it. I don't want to tell you guys I took it because I don't want you guys to hop in late, but I did take the trade. So I waited for it, and then it like literally disappeared at the last second, but I was already in the position because I entered it at the last second. Like at the 1 second mark, I was ready to hit that buy because I've been waiting with you guys for like over an hour. So I got in. I just didn't say anything because I didn't want you guys to hop in with me and then get mad for it to for if it didn't play out. So I took it. That was my fault. I didn't wait for the very last second. But I didn't want you guys to take an invalid entry. I knew price was going to come up though. So the reason why I took it was because I was confident price was going to correct back up. I knew price was going to push up at some point. A couple of things here kind of just gave me hints, right? We had the lower low here, rejected off the sessions. So as I mentioned, I said, you know, these sessions are very strong. That's why I like having the sessions up, because when price bounces off them, it just, you know, it establishes a low. So like, for example, we had low here, and I already knew this was going to be the floor because we saw the sessions right there. And then this candle here literally closed at the very last second. Like it closed, and then at the 1 second mark, it just disappeared. But at that 1 second, I already hit buy. So I just held on to it. I watched it. It hit my full TP. It's not going to count as an official trade, but it did hit my full TP. So I'm not going to count the trade. I'll show you guys my profits, but this is not going to count as any trade because there's no entry here. This here would not qualify as an actual entry because obviously this candle already broke and closed above it. So there's no actual entry here. The only entry that this would have been for, this is actually no entry at all because it wouldn't be a pivot scalp and it wouldn't be an intraday scalp because the trend here is bearish. So there's no entry here. So yeah, the third requirement here was invalidated because you have to wait for price to break and close past the pivots. It already broke and closed past it without the momentum signal. So there's no entry there. Yeah, well, I mean, good thing you caught it, Nick, but there was no actual entry there. Just want to clarify that so that you guys don't get confused. But yeah, all right, guys, unfortunately, this was the Monday trading day. We were looking for this entry here to come up. It almost closed like to the last very second. It almost closed, but unfortunately, it did not close in order for it to be valid. I'll take a screenshot of my profit so that you guys can see what I locked in. Again, this is not going to count as an official trade. I did take a position, and I typically call I count trades that I take personally, but since this trade here was not official, it's not going to count. So, you know, even though I made profit on the trade, I'm not going to count it. I just want to show you guys what I locked in off that trade there, but it's all good. You know, it's just Monday, guys. We have a whole week ahead of us, so don't worry if you guys haven't taken anything. Here are my profits, locked in 1,120 off my FTMO number 1, 1,220 off my FTMO number 2, 920 off my MFF, 970 off my MFF number 2, and 970 off my MFF number 3. Here are Patricia's profits for the day. She locked in 485 off her first account, 1,020 off her second account, and 385 off her third account. She said also getting off not liking the movement today, and that's fair. I wouldn't want to stick around with this market either. I'll just give a small description, or I'll just post this up real quick. So guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, I will be back here later today for the mentoring session. So our normally scheduled mentoring session is today at 2 p.m. I'm just going to screenshot my profits and then I'll move on. And we'll wrap it up for the day. Unfortunately, no entries, no official entries at least, unless you guys applied any of my other strategies. There was other entries that came up, like the high-low scalps, but those are not going to count as, you know, obviously entries for the day. So I got my one trade for the day here. It's going to take my individual screenshots. All right. Now for this account. MFF is getting a little better, guys. So just an FYI, like last week, MFF was not good at all. It was giving me half profit for every trade I took. It's a little closer now. It's still not where it should be, but it is a little better. So just a heads up. Because I know some of you guys were asking about MFF last week. They're not on FTMO level, but fine. All right, so let me go ahead and post up my actual profits, individual accounts, and then we will wrap this up for the day. All right, so here are my profits for the day. Here's Kenny's profits as well. So Kenny locked in a total profit of 820. Kenny actually took that trade with us as well. It's all good. If you guys took it, great. If you guys didn't, it's completely fine. There was no official trades for the day. But yeah, here are my profits individually. Here's my main account. You can see the green strip. This is my FTMO number 1, total profit of 1,120. Here is my FTMO number 2, locking a total profit of 1,220. Here's my MFF number 1, 970, my MFF number 2, 920, and my MFF number 3, 970. So solid profits all around. I mean, if you add them up, I think it was well worth my wait. We're kind of hanging out for a good hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I locked in, let's see, 1,120, 20, 970, 920, 970. So total profit of 5,200 for the day. This is normal. If you have one trade, this is pretty much what you lock in if you have multiple accounts. I'm not locking in crazy profits every day like some other people in the group, but I'm pretty content with locking in, this much for basically an hour of work, which wasn't really work. I mean, we kind of just hung out all day. Not all day, we hung out for like an hour, waiting for that one entry and then locked it in. So some profits over here from Barack. Let's see. Barack said messy day for me, mostly FOMO. It's all good, Brock. So Brock kind of took a bunch of trades here on his own, lost a couple of trades, but it's all good. So you'll bounce back from this tomorrow, Brock. Just at this point, I would probably recommend that you stop trading if you're FOMOing, because you said messy day for you, mostly FOMO. If you continue to FOMO, it's probably gonna get worse. So I'd probably just call it a day. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I mean, otherwise I'll be back here for the mentoring session at 2 o'clock. So I'll be back in about 6 hours for the mentoring session. But other than that, I think we're good for today. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, you guys are welcome to email me, Sean@KodiKaiTrades.com, or you guys can message me on Telegram @KodiKaiTrades. If you guys are new here and you guys want access to my strategies, as I mentioned, I'm only applying this strategy here on the live, but one of the other strategies that a lot of other people are applying are the high-low scalp. So if you want to learn this strategy, the high-low scalp, just go to the website, go to unlock your free access. You'll have access to all the strategy videos. If you're looking for that specific strategy video, you would just scroll down to the scalp strategies. So you go down to here, scalp strategy. It's going to be the first one, 1 minute high-low scalp strategy. That's the one that a lot of people here were applying. I think Kenny was applying it, Sisuk was applying it, and Maddie was applying it as well. So, all right, guys, other than that, I will see you guys back here in a few hours. If not, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll